Hey guys, so I have never filmed a sit down video here before, but I wanted to try it today for my pregnancy update. I am about 29 weeks now, and I wanted to film like a second trimester recap and go over everything that happened to me in the second trimester. I wanted to do this video a while ago, but then I started having a bunch of health problems. So I decided to wait until everything like cleared up, resolved itself, and I got some answers, and now I have all of that. So we're gonna film a second trimester recap. So the first thing I want to talk about, I have my notes, so don't mind me if I'm like waving this pen around or like looking down at my notes. I've had a lot of health problems. As I said, I mentioned it in the last video and said I would talk about it here. So I'm just gonna get started with that. It all started when I was around 20 weeks and I had my anatomy scan, and they told me that I was at risk for placenta previa. And basically, if you don't know what that is, it's when your placenta covers your cervix. And when they were doing my anatomy scan, I kid you not, they had to do like my scan 5 different times. They had to do the external, like just on my belly, and then she had to do an internal scan, and then she was like, okay, go to the bathroom and come back. I'm gonna do another scan on your tummy. And I was like, okay. So I did that, went to the bathroom, she scanned my tummy again. She was like, I'm gonna have the doctor come in and look. And so that at that point, I was like pretty worried. I was like wondering what was going wrong, but I've seen a lot of ultrasounds from my previous 2 kids. So I kind of knew she was looking at my cervix, and I was starting to wonder if that's what was going on. So by the time the doctor came back in, he told me, he was like, okay, well, she's concerned about placenta previa, so that's what I'm checking for. And I was like, yeah, I could tell she was looking at my cervix a lot, so I was wondering what was happening. So with that, he scanned and he said, when my uterus contracts, which it would be contracting during birth, my placenta does cover my cervix. So he said he is fairly confident that it will move up and away as my uterus grows, but if it doesn't, then that is going to like become an issue. I don't have placenta previa, but I am at risk if it doesn't move by my growth ultrasound, which I think is coming up soon, like 32 weeks or so. And at that appointment, they also decided to medicate me for high blood pressure. So they have me take baby aspirin once a day, just over the counter aspirin, to keep my blood pressure in check. And so this is kind of where the rest of my health problems like stemmed from, because I got very worried very quickly when, it wasn't a huge deal in the end, but I was extremely worried because he had already said that I had high blood pressure, or like he was concerned about high blood pressure, so he had me on this aspirin. So I started getting migraines. I was probably 24, 25 weeks along, and I had a migraine, I kid you not, for 3 days straight. It was the worst headache I have ever had. Tylenol didn't touch it, and if you know anything about pregnancy, you know Tylenol is pretty much all you can take. It was so bad, and I would wake up with a migraine in the morning and have it all day long and go to bed and wake up the next day and it was still there. So after 3 days of that, I decided to go to the ER, and that's when they said my blood pressure was 139/88, which is like literally like 3 points away from being considered high blood pressure. And that is after I had taken aspirin for the day. So I was extremely worried. I was Googling everything. I thought that I was suffering from preeclampsia, because migraines are a huge symptom of preeclampsia, the high blood pressure, and I was also having a couple other symptoms. Just the migraines that had been so bad for days was like stressing me out. So everybody at the ER was like, oh no, 139/88 is normal, like it's fine, it's not high. But my blood pressure has always been low my entire life. I kid you not, 90/60. It's always really low. And even in my previous pregnancies, I got like commented on about, oh my gosh, your blood pressure is so low. Like, is it always that low? Blah, blah, blah. Like, the doctors would always comment on it pretty much every time I had an appointment and they found out it was 90/60. They were like, man, that's really low. It's not out of the normal range at all, but it's just the low end of normal. So with that prior information as well, the 139/88 scared the crap out of me, and I was so concerned. I went home and, well, they sent me home with some headache medicine that is safe for pregnancy, and it helped kind of, but it wasn't really even taking the headaches away at all, but it dropped it from like a 9 out of 10 to like a 6 out of 10. So it did help. So then after that, I had a doctor's appointment like 4 days later. So I tried not to take the headache medicine too much until my appointment with my actual OB, because I wanted to double check with her that this medicine was safe for pregnancy and talk to her about the headaches. So I continued to have headaches for another 10 days after the ER visit. So in total, it had been 13 days straight of migraines, and it was really bad, even with the headache medicine. So after I went to the OB, she said, yes, this is a good medicine. You can take this. It's definitely safe. And she refilled my prescription, because I think they had only given me like 10 or so at the ER, because that's the most they can give. So she refilled my prescription and was like, take it as needed. It's okay. And so I started taking it, and it didn't go away until like the 10th day after the ER visit. So that was rough, but they started to finally go away. My blood pressure started to go down, and she thought that my blood pressure was probably so high because of the migraine, when I was thinking that the migraine was caused by my high blood pressure. So that was a lot less concerning, that she was like, no, your blood pressure gets high when you're hurt or stressed or blah, blah, blah. So she was pretty convinced that the blood pressure issue was because of the migraines. But she suggested I still take the aspirin and go on about my pregnancy. Since then, I think I've had about 3 or 4 headache days, but they haven't been consecutive. I've just had random headaches, which is pretty normal for pregnancy, and it's not concerning. It was just the migraine that lasted literally forever that was concerning to me. And the only other symptom that has been of any concern to me, like to bring up to my doctor worthy, is that my ears are so congested. I think I might have mentioned this in a video before, but I feel like my ears are clogged all the time. And I was told at the ER that there was a little bit of water in my ears, but they don't look infected or anything, and the water is probably just related to pregnancy. I didn't know that was a thing that occurred, but they said it's normal. But I feel like I cannot hear, and I also feel like I cannot see. I recently just had an eye doctor appointment, and I literally told the eye doctor, I was like, I can't even see. Like, you say that I have the correct prescription, but sitting here in this chair, I cannot read those letters, like they're blurry. She was like, that happens with pregnancy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I've been pregnant 3 times in the past 3 years, or 4 years, I guess. And even when I'm pregnant or not pregnant, I feel like I can't see very well. And so basically there's nothing really that they can do about it. I guess I just won't see well ever. So back to my headache story. After I was having all of these headaches and went to the ER, I did also end up getting the flu. Me and both of the girls had the flu while Aaron was gone, and that was probably the worst thing that has ever happened to me. Because I was sick, I was throwing up, and like in the bathroom all the time. Both of the girls were throwing up all over the place, in their beds, on the floor. Like, it was ridiculous. And nausea and vomiting is another sign of preeclampsia, which that happened after I went to the ER, but I brought it up to my doctor and I was like, I'm scared. And she was like, don't be scared. So no, I just had the flu, and so did both of the girls. And I don't have preeclampsia as far as I know. It was just a mess for like literally 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I was miserable and sick and had headaches all day. I was literally just surviving. I was just keeping the girls alive, and that was it. I was not doing anything extra. I was not cleaning or cooking or doing anything. The amount of Lunchables I gave the girls was ridiculous. And like, but it was the best I could do. I was in so much pain. I was so miserable. So that was that. And I got through it. It's okay now. But then after that, Aaron came home, and he was home for just about a week. I think maybe 5 or 6 days, because I was sick and like recovering, and he just had time, like home time. So he was home for a while. So that also threw my schedule off. And that is basically why I took what, a month and a half or so break. It was just ridiculous. And then it was hard to get back into my routine, but here I am now. I'm trying my best, and I've been doing my morning routine. I had to get back into the swing of that. And I've also been napping a lot at my kids' nap time because I have been exhausted. So it was hard for me to get back into my actual routine and want to post videos because I was just so sick. But I am feeling better now, and that's great. And then as for like more normal symptoms, I do have a ton of heartburn. I swear if this baby doesn't come out with a full head of hair, I'm gonna be so mad, because I have heartburn every single day, basically all day. If I eat anything, heartburn. If I drink water, heartburn. Like, I feel like my uterus is just so huge that my stomach has like this much room, and it's going well. I have to take Alka-Seltzer like every night before bed pretty much, so I don't throw up in my sleep, which is a huge problem I had with Addie. And Addie had a ton of hair, so I think that old wives' tale is pretty true. So I really hope that this baby has a ton of hair. And other than that, I have just been exhausted. Like I said, I've been napping at bedtime and going to bed as soon as I put the kids to sleep. I mean, I account that to their white noise, because when I have to sit in there for a while with their white noise on, it makes me so incredibly tired. I was actually so tired today that I almost took a nap instead of filming this video, but I decided to just film it anyway. So here we are. I'm so tired. I'm gonna say it 100 times, but I am so tired. It's just ridiculous. But that is part of pregnancy, and it is hard having 2 toddlers and being pregnant all by myself. Like, that is pretty hard. But we're getting through it. I'm gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. Then as for my plans going forward, I do still plan on having a home birth. I am in contact with the midwife and have been, like, I set up my first appointment with her. And I know it's kind of late in the game, but we were having a ton of insurance problems. First of all, we had to wait for Aaron to get his insurance through his work. He had to work there for 90 days or something before he got insurance. And then once we did get insurance, they would not cover my midwife. And it turns out that I can't pay for my midwife with the FHA either. And then they just told me the other day that once I pay my $2,500 deductible, then they'll cover the midwife at 50%. So her fees are $4,000. I don't know if she wants that out there, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm trying to be transparent here. So her fees are $4,000. So first of all, I would have to pay $2,500 of that out of pocket anyway. And then they would only cover 50% of the last $1,500. So I would still have to pay another $750. So overall, I'd be paying $3,250 out of the $4,000. So I decided, and we pay $150 a week for this insurance. So like, I've already paid, well, not me. Aaron has already paid the other $500 out of his paycheck because we've had it for a couple months now. I'm sure he's already paid more than $500. So we are dropping the insurance and we're just paying out of pocket. Instead of paying the insurance $150 a week, we're just gonna pay her all of that money that we would spend on insurance because we still are approved for our state insurance because he does not make enough and I am not working. So we're just gonna go ahead with our state insurance and drop his health insurance. That's way too expensive and doesn't cover anything anyway. I've had one appointment since getting the new insurance, and that is where I went to give the lady my insurance and she was like, "Don't you have Sooner Care?" And I was like, "Yeah, we do." but I need to drop it because we just got this insurance. And she was like, how much does your husband make? Oh my gosh. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I told her the amount. And she was like, oh, you guys still qualify. So like, why do you have this insurance? I was like, I was under the impression that we had to get it as soon as possible. And she told me, no, don't do that, to drop the insurance if we can. So I'm taking her advice and not paying this exorbitant amount of money for terrible insurance. That is that. It's been a mess of insurance problems. And to go along with that, sorry, I'm just rambling. This is just a rambling video. But to go along with that, the insurance gave me 2 in-network midwives that would do a home birth. And I called both of them probably 20 times in the past month because I wanted to get an appointment with one of them, and literally I cannot get a hold of either of them. So I tried to go to my insurance and get my midwife covered as an in-network provider, and like they won't help. They said that she has to call and do all this and fill all this stuff out, and they would only cover her at 75% instead of 50%. So that still doesn't help my case much. It's also the only insurance that he can get through his company. They don't have like options. They just have a plan for the employees and then a plan for the managers. So that's a little bit ridiculous that we didn't even get to pick at all what we got, and we got really horrible coverage. We also still have not like picked out a name. We've kind of discussed names. My sisters both really want me to pick one specific name, and I was telling them, I don't know, gotta talk to Erin, obviously. And they were like, no, like, you just pick. And I was like, that's not how this works. So my sisters really want me to go with a specific name, and we are thinking of doing a gender neutral name and just kind of adjusting the middle name based on the gender. So I have a feeling that is going to be what we do. And I will be making a baby names I love but we aren't using, because I have a lot of names that Aaron just doesn't like, and he does have to help me pick. So I will be doing that probably pretty soon. So let me know if you want to see that down below. And then also about my channel, I have been thinking a lot about like doing live streams. Since live streams just got opened up to smaller creators, I kind of want to start doing live streams. And I was thinking that I could do a live stream like after my kids go to bed, and just kind of live stream like what I do. It would just be cleaning and preparing for the next day and stuff like that. But I think it would be fun to talk to you guys a lot more, and it would be more content for my channel because I do want to start posting more often. I have had this goal for a while, but I set my expectations way too high for myself. So I kind of want to roll this out and maybe start live streaming, but I feel like I would be really embarrassed if like one person was in there. So let me know if you're interested in live streams. I will also post it on my community tab to see if there's any interest in live streams like after bedtime or even like nap time live streams, because I put my kids down pretty regularly at 11 a.m. and they sleep till about 1 or 2. So I think that I could probably do an afternoon live stream like quite frequently and just show. I normally work or clean or do stuff like that during nap time, so I could just show my basic life things. So let me know if you have any interest in that. And I think that is going to wrap it up for this video. I've literally been filming for like 30 minutes. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you guys want to see in the comments down below, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.